Welcome, brother. All right. And we are live. Welcome, brothers, to another show. Today we have our first time guest on the show. I'm going to let him introduce himself, but this brother is well-traveled, man. He's in the group. He was showing us some receipts of his recent travel to Cape Verde. How you doing today, brother?
Yo, I'm doing good. What's good? What's good with y'all, BMT? Happy to be here, man. Happy to be here.
Man, appreciate you coming on the show, man. You know, a lot of brothers want to ask you some questions about Cape Verde, but I'll let you go ahead and introduce yourself.
Where? Okay, well, my name's Kimani. I'm 24. My travel bug started when I was about 11 going on 12. My pops was in the military, so we did a few months in about 8 months in Germany. So I got rid of the culture shock, the fear of the culture shock, pretty early on. So from there, when I was going off to college, I wanted to do a backpacking trip before I went to college, because that's usually how, most people outside of America, like Europe, for example, like they'll take like a year off before they start, studying and stuff like that and just travel.
Right.
And so, so my mom, just gave me the advice, like, hey, like, you're going to an international school, so you might meet friends from like all over the world. And, sure enough, mom's was right. And I did. Met like a really good homie that was from France.
Mm-hmm.
He was from Paris, France. Met some friends from Tokyo, Japan. That I was able, like people I was able to like link with when I eventually went out to these places. And yeah, I mean, it ended up being a good experience, and I'm glad I did. And
Mm-hmm.
so since then, I've kind of just been more of a backpacking type thing.
Mm-hmm.
Through most countries, and then as of like the last year, I want to say it was just more of like a slow travel kind of
Mm-hmm.
thing. Like when I went to Cape Verde and then just did Tanzania as well. So it's
Oh,
more of like a
nice.
slow travel kind of thing. Take my time, really. Get the vibe of a place, see what the people are like, the locals, and that kind of thing.
Awesome, awesome, man. So, by your dad being in the military, is that what piqued your interest as far as
Definitely.
traveling?
Yeah, definitely. Because I mean, we were, just being in Europe, you're so close to, all these other countries, and
Mm-hmm.
we didn't travel as much, but we did travel around Germany because I used to hoop, so we would go to like, for people that have been, been around in Germany, we go to like Vilseck, Heidelberg, Wiesbaden,
Mm-hmm.
Schweinfurt. We were stationed in Bamberg. Um,
Okay.
but yeah, I mean, yeah, pretty much like all over Germany, we were just going hooping and meeting different Americans, of course, from all over, and yeah, man, it was just a good experience. Like of course, like as a kid, like I remember, I can vividly remember the day that I was leaving my sixth grade class. Like we
Uh
were
huh.
we were moved like that Christmas break. And actually, like I think we got there like New Year's Day. So I was like, I was balling, man. I was crying, like I didn't want to leave my friends, my girl.
Right.
What's a girlfriend at that, at that age? So yeah, man. It was, I'm glad we did. I'm glad we did.
Nice, man. And tell us what all countries you've been to thus far.
So thus far, should I name the like the layover dayover type countries too, or?
No, yeah, just go ahead and name countries that you
Okay,
you
cool.
touched down in. Period.
Oh, okay, where? Okay, so Canada,
Mm-hmm.
Mexico,
Mm-hmm.
Colombia, Brazil, Uruguay, Argentina. Um, that's it for South America.
Mm-hmm.
And then UK, France, Spain, Switzerland, Germany, um, Sweden.
Mm-hmm.
I said Switzerland, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Oh, okay, word. Lithuania.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think that's it for Europe. And then Africa, I've been to Cape Verde, Sierra Leone, Ghana, and Tanzania. Over in Asia, I went to Japan, South Korea,
Wow.
and Hong Kong, and then Australia.
Man, that is amazing, bro.
Yeah,
That is amazing. 24 years old, you've been
yeah,
over 20 countries already.
word, yeah,
Dope, dope, man. And do you vlog when you in these countries? You have a YouTube channel. Do you vlog in these countries or?
word, yeah. So, so that's a funny thing. Like, actually, I have a bunch of content I just never like released. You know what I'm saying?
Uh
Like,
huh.
I've always managed to like to document but also live in the moment. Like I feel
Mm-hmm.
like eventually I found that balance, and then yeah, I don't know, just basically just capping, like not releasing stuff. But
Mm-hmm.
since I found BMT, I've been more motivated to do it because my number one thing is like, man, I just want brothers to travel, like because my travel for me is more of a mental, it has been more of a mental thing. Because
Thank
the
you,
way
bro.
I would do it is that I would just work a job for a few months and then
Mm-hmm.
bounce out and then and then go. That's what it's been like pretty much the last 2-3 years for me.
Mm-hmm.
Especially before COVID.
Mm-hmm.
I was, like working events, bartending, Cowboys games, concerts and different stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Really whatever I could do to like make some quick cash, like I,
Mm-hmm.
selling stuff on eBay, vintage clothes, polo, Tommy Hilfiger, anything I could do to get my hands on traveling. Like,
Mm-hmm.
because yeah, I mean it started really when I had dropped out of college.
Mm-hmm.
And I was still living in LA, working a job. I mean, I was able to, keep a job and stuff like that. But
Mm-hmm.
it just became to a point where I was like, man, like this can't be it. Like I felt like the 2 years that I lived there, I kind of, experienced all the things that I seen in the movies. The parties and
Mm-hmm.
the girls and stuff like that. I
Mm-hmm.
feel like I had my fun, and
Mm-hmm.
I felt like there was something more out there. So then I kind of started from there. I started in the U.S. just going up the coast
Mm-hmm.
from Miami up to like Jersey. Then I went to Toronto, and then in Canada, and also Vancouver. Vancouver is a really beautiful city. So yeah, then I went from East Coast up the East Coast and up the West Coast, like LA to Vancouver, Miami up to Toronto, and then after that is when I did. That was like the like late 2016, and then fall of 2017 was when went like abroad, like across the pond.
Wow, man, that is amazing, bro.
Yeah.
And what city you in now?
I'm in VA right now, Fredericksburg. Yeah, visiting an
Oh,
aunt I haven't seen in a while.
okay, nice,
Yeah.
nice, man. Now let me ask you this, man, because when you have conversations with other people in your peer group, and you're telling them that, hey, man, I got a passport, I'm traveling the world, what do they say to you?
Um, they think it's expensive because when it
Mm-hmm.
comes to travel, most people think like the all inclusive resort, which is
Mm-hmm.
understandable because when you think about just how they show travel, like even in the movies and that kind of thing, you got to take the time off first. We got to get approved first. You know what I'm saying? And then you got to figure out like, okay, well, where do I want to go? And then most people want everything included, the flight. They want to know exactly what they're doing before they get there. And so for me, I was just like, forget all that. Like I just want to see stuff and be there. So I
Mm-hmm.
would just the way I would do my trips, I would work for that few months and then kind of just book the flights all together. I would book the flights first, and then
Mm-hmm.
accommodations I'll book that later. you know, that was the last 2 years. Like when I went to like Colombia and stuff, I planned a little bit better than I used to do before that. Because before that,
Mm-hmm.
I would just book the flight and then worry about everything later. But when I went to Colombia, that's when I actually started planning ahead of time. Like I got the interest of going to Colombia through Jabril Goro and Passport Heavy.
Shout out
When
to
he did
Jabril.
his video, yeah, he was doing his thing out there, and I didn't, I wasn't on that level, but
Mm-hmm.
Colombia is relatively cheap. You can get a nice. I went to Medellin, so you can get I had a
Dope.
nice Airbnb in Poblado, right on
Mm-hmm.
that bridge. Like
Mm-hmm.
it was like right around the corner from that bridge in that skate park.
Mm-hmm. I think you're
Um,
talking about Pato Benito area.
Pado Bonito. Oh,
I
okay,
think so.
okay, word. But yeah, so it's like right across from like those malls and stuff like that, and then
Mm-hmm.
you have all the hills and the valleys and stuff, and it was nice. And I think it was only like 35 a night, um, so I kind of just booked all those flights like from Colombia to Uruguay, and then the ferry to Argentina, and then then the flight from Argentina to Rio.
Nice,
So
nice.
I mean, altogether, I think I spent about I want to say like 2,000 like on the entire trip, maybe
Mm-hmm.
like through all those countries. Yeah, maybe a little less. Just yeah, I mean, just getting the vibe, eating the local food.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nice, nice. I'm gonna give a shout out to Ace Boogie for the 5 super chat, man. I appreciate that. He says appreciate the content, my brother. I appreciate you for the donation, man. Let me ask you this, bro. So, when you travel, are you traveling strictly solo, or you travel with friends, or?
Yeah, strictly solo.
Oh wow,
I,
okay.
I tried to plan like a little vacation to when I was going to Colombia,
Mm-hmm.
as a matter of fact. But it didn't work out. She capped on me, said she lost her passport. But for whatever reason, like it
Hey,
was
that was
whatever. I'm
her.
glad.
Trust me, that was her loss.
No facts, like it was.
Yeah.
Because I ended up having a good time.
Mm-hmm.
I ended up having a
Yeah.
good time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Colombia is one of them countries you really don't want to bring a woman to 9 times out of 10. You know.
yeah,
Yeah, because there's so many beautiful women already here, man. You don't want to bring Sam to the beach, but if she
facts.
said she lost her passport, then hey, that's her loss.
Word, yeah, and I mean, it was more so just to have somebody with me,
Mm-hmm.
because we weren't really even together. Like we were like friends in like high school. We kind of like dated and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that. I don't know. We weren't really. It wasn't no title on it or nothing like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it didn't break my heart or nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Nice, nice. So let me
Yeah.
ask you this, bro. You've been to all the continents. You've been to Europe, Africa, South America. What's your favorite vibe?
My favorite one,
Mm-hmm.
I would say South America, man.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I would say South America.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I feel like if it wasn't like if I didn't feel a direct connection to Africa, you know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Like if I was one of those brothers that just didn't feel a connection to Africa whatsoever, South America is like where I would be,
Mm-hmm.
as far as like living. Because one, I grew up in Texas, so the Latino slash Spanish, culture, like I was kind of already, you know, around, even though it's even though it's very different. I'll say that. Even though it's very different. I took 2 years of Spanish in high school. I did, I forgot all that. I just, learned enough to pass the pass the test and stuff. But yeah, it was just something that I was already kind of familiar with, so I knew it wasn't that far of a stretch. And then Europe was cool too. That because I actually did live there, kind of as a kid. But Europe was cool. But it just reminded me of America a lot, especially France and Germany. It just reminded me of America, a cleaner version, I would say. Yeah.
Okay, and when you talk about South America, are you talking about Colombia or Brazil, or you like pretty much the vibe in both?
Yeah, I like the vibe in both. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard for me to. It would be hard for me to choose. I haven't spent enough time really. Like I did like a week in each. A week in Medellin, a week in Rio. Yeah.
And
about a week
which one you had the most fun in?
Ooh, I would say Rio.
Rio. Okay.
Yeah, because I went to this. I forgot the name of I'm pretty sure some brothers that are tuning in or in the group have been to these parties, but those moving parties where they play with the live music, where the band's playing the live music. There's like girls walking on stilts, twerking, there's food carts. They got the caipirinhas, on deck. Like I had never seen nothing like that. And it had started like around 10. It was supposed to go until like the sunrise at Ipanema. So I ended up like tapping out like around 3 because I had got too drunk. Like I was like, yeah, I gotta go back to the spot. And what's cool too is that I had actually stayed at a hostel that time in Rio. And initially I planned on staying like 2 to 3 days in the hostel just to kind of meet more travelers, but I ended up staying because the hostel, I forgot the name of it, but it's in it's like right at the top of Lapa, right above Lapa. And so it was a short walk. So every night we'd always go out in like groups like 10 to 15 deep. And I was the only American. We had these other 2 brothers that were from Montreal, and they were cool. They was cool as hell. Yeah, so that was pretty much. So I ended up just extending my stay at the hostel. I'm like, yo, this is lit. And the hostel was cool too because it's on top. Like it's overlooking the city, and like they have a pool and they have like a rooftop bar with like different sections and stuff. And they even have their own parties on the weekends where they invite locals. Like when I was there, they had a few different parties. They even had a children's party. And there's just people drinking everywhere. It's like you wouldn't even know it was a children's party unless somebody told you. So it was just a good vibe, man. I'm like, yo, this is cool. Everybody's having a good time.
I didn't really understand the hostel culture until I moved to Medellin, and now like every day you pretty much hang out at hostels during the day for the most part. That's where some of your friends are going to be at different Americans. And I think when people think about hostel, they think about twin bunk beds, shared bathrooms. But hostels are like their own little community.
They have something to accommodate everyone. They have the private room. One hostel that I do like is Generator hostels. I think it's only throughout Europe. I've stayed at the ones in Paris and the ones in Sweden. And they have like different. They have a bar and they have a nightclub as well inside. And the one in Paris is real nice. And so you're meeting people from all over Europe. I wouldn't knock hostels. It's like Generator would be a good one if you're going out to Europe. I know they have one in Barcelona. They have some in Germany, Berlin. All over Europe, London. Yeah, it would be a good hostel to stay at because I believe all of them have bars. I don't know if all of them have nightclubs though, but I know the one in Paris for sure. Like they got an underground. It's a whole underground nightclub type thing.
Nice. That's nice, man. And when you what makes you decide on what country you want to visit? You just be like, hey, I'm spinning the globe. Hey, I'm going here next.
Pretty much. My whole thing was, I wasn't really too struck on like trying to see every country. Because for me, like I didn't really have a budget for that. Well, I mean, even though like you can still, there's still ways that people can travel. Like there's people that do house sitting or pet sitting, and are getting free accommodation for that. So those are other things that I do want to talk about, especially for brothers my age, that feel like maybe they gotta save up their bread to a certain point. That's if you're trying to make an exit, you know what I'm saying? If you're just trying to completely peace out, then, by all means, save up your bread and, work on some skills that you're able to, sustain yourself and everything like that. But if you're just wanting to see the world and see places, like you can do you can definitely do it for damn near next to nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you're teaching English, or volunteering, the Peace Corps, or there's a website called Workaway. I mean, there's a
Mm-hmm.
hundreds of websites like that where you can just do different things, work on a farm,
Mm-hmm.
again, teach English. I mean, they have all types of things you could do.
Mm-hmm.
So I would
Nice.
encourage brothers to check those things out too.
Very dope. Very dope. And okay, so when you first started traveling to Africa, did you go to West Africa first, or
Yeah, yeah. I went to West Africa first. I took my
okay?
first trip to Sierra Leone. My step pops is actually from Sierra Leone.
Okay.
So I remember he told me that he was they were planning a family trip out there in December of 2018. So I was like, oh, say less. I booked the flight. It was like, yeah, I'm ready. First trip to Africa. Let's do it. I was gonna do it
Right.
eventually, but
Uh huh.
went out there with the fam, and it was a beautiful experience. It was spent out went out there for about 10 days, and
Mm-hmm.
he's from the southern region, Bo Sierra Leone. So
Mm-hmm.
we in about 10 days we went through Freetown, the capital, spent like 2 to 3 days there. Went down to Bo and also Kinnimaw. He has Kinnimaw is about 30 minutes from Bo. So
Okay.
we seen the village that he was born in, cousins and aunties that's still out there, and I mean it was a really good experience, man. A really
Mm-hmm.
dope experience, very eye opening.
Okay. Nice. And did you feel safe out there? Because I know Sierra Leone had kind of like a civil war back in like the '90s that was pretty bad.
Word, yeah, and the thing with that too is that everything was so bad, and from what my father and my grandfather were explaining,
Mm-hmm.
everything was so bad that everybody had lost somebody. So when you feel that pain, everybody eventually comes together and is not really on that tip anymore. Like
Mm-hmm.
from my experience and from spending time there, I had spent another like month and a half there, just before like the lockdown, the Rona spread and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
in February. So it's definitely peaceful. I mean, I did get robbed when I was out there, but
Uh
it
oh.
was
Hold on. Hold
also,
on. You got
yeah.
robbed. Oh man, tell us what
Yeah,
happened.
yeah. I got robbed by some kids. So you seen City of God, right?
Of course. Yeah.
Word. Okay, so I got robbed by some kids like that. Like
Mm-hmm.
long story short, me and my cousin, we were walking. We were on this street called we were on this beach called Lumley Beach, which is like a strip of like it's kind of like a mini what do you call that? Miami Rodeo, not Rodeo, what do you call that? Ocean Drive. Like it's
Yeah.
like
Ocean Drive. Yeah. All right.
casinos, hotels, restaurants, and stuff like that, right? So
Mm-hmm.
we're leaving the restaurant, and we're trying to get like a KK, one of those three wheel moto things, back to the crib, and we're walking further, and at a certain point, there's no more street lights, so we're just like walking in the dark. And so I don't even hear footsteps. And the next thing I know is give me the bag with a knife up to my neck.
Mm-hmm.
and when I heard the voice, I knew it was these kids that were just playing around at the beach, and like we had I was out there with my dad, grandfather, uncle, aunt, and my cousin like the night before, I want to say, or I think like 2 nights before. And I don't know. They asked me for money, and I just didn't give it to them. Like
Mm-hmm.
I have this thing like I do. I give people money when like sometimes, but it's like if you need something, I'll go and buy that for you. Because it's like I feel like you can only keep giving, for so long before it's just like how is that really helping? So it was just one of those times I said no, and they caught me slipping, and they
Mm-hmm.
had seen me fly my drone at the beach and that kind of stuff too. I had my drone, phone, and a lot of stuff a lot of footage that I shot in my father's village that I didn't get a chance to save.
Mm-hmm.
So that was another lesson in itself. I was really just more so upset that I didn't get a chance to save the memories that I captured. I could buy
Mm-hmm.
the other stuff again. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But
Right.
yeah, we just got caught slipping. You know what I'm saying? Like it was nothing. I dusted it off. And really it was more so like I kind of respected it. Like respected the jokes because they were just trying to eat. Like this was like a few days before Christmas. This
Mm-hmm.
happened like the 23rd,
Mm-hmm.
23rd of December. So I understood it. Like, just caught slipping. And what's good now too, I should also point out is that on Lumley Beach they actually have lights going all the way up until like the main Lumley Circle,
Mm-hmm.
which is like one of the main transportation hubs in Freetown.
Mm-hmm.
So that's good. So they're doing so. a lot of these cities in Africa that they're doing, a lot of things to protect the tourism economy. And mind you, still this is pre COVID. So so I do want to point that out. They're making sure they're doing the things to protect the tourist dollar, because they know how far that goes, and that's majority of the economy in a lot of these countries.
Okay,
So
nice.
they are making those improvements.
Nice. All right, folks, we got 100 in the room. Do me a favor and smash that like button when you come in. Also, if you haven't joined the Black Men Travels 2.0 Facebook group, make sure you join the private Facebook group. Now, bro, let me ask you this. Is that you see like a big difference between West Africa, because Cape Verde is toward East Africa, right? That's on the opposite side of the continent.
No, Cape Verde is West Africa. It's up near. It's like off the coast of Senegal and Mauritania.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
So, did you see any big differences, like cultural differences, in Cape Verde and the west of West Africa?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, because of the Portuguese, colonization, it's very different. They do still consider themselves African. They call themselves Criollo. So they speak Criollo, which is like a broken Portuguese. Kind of like pidgin or patois,
Okay.
maybe. So they have their own culture, and I mean, if I was to kind of describe it to brothers, it's very similar to Brazil.
Okay.
Like as far as like the party culture, the music, the caipirinha, stuff like that. But they do have their own like popular culture. Like they have a music called Funana. What else? Forgive me if any my Cape Verdean homies is watching, but they got a music called Funana. They have their own like different types of music, and they have their own pop icons and that kind of thing. I wouldn't call it like a little Brazil, but in order to kind of help somebody understand that hasn't been, I would make that comparison.
Okay, and basically this is a group of islands, right?
Yeah, a group of 10 islands.
Yeah. Okay, nice. And everybody already asking in the chat, man. What's the look, the common look, I guess the phenotype out there of the women? Are they kind of more mixed, or how do they look?
Nah, I mean, well, most of the women, like they're all African. It's just different shades. Yeah, it's just different shades of black. Like, I mean, from like the Danny Lee to like a Danny Lee type to like Kelly Rowland. Like it, it just goes up the scale.
Yeah, I got a question. It says, do the women in Cape Verde have a body like Amber Rose?
A lot of them do. Yeah, a lot of them do. A lot of them do. Yeah.
And what's the cooperation out there, brother? Like how they be talking out there? What's their attitudes hitting on?
For me, most of the girls that I have like interacted with or have some sort of relationship with, were through like either like my barber or friends that I was meeting through the barbershop.
Okay, cool.
So I mean, if you don't speak the language, that's another thing too. Another myth that like I kind of broke early on, or realized early on, that is not true. That just because you're American or just because you're black means you automatically are going to, are going to score.
Right. Exactly.
Like that's not true at all. Like I realized that in France, that if you don't speak the language, some girls are not going to entertain you because they don't know what you're saying.
Exactly.
Like they just have no clue, and they're just not moved by you being American. Like that doesn't. Yeah, that's not always like going to be an icebreaker or something. You know what I'm saying? So. I would kind of, learn how to speak the language, like Moksa means, it's like, what's up? Moki Buchoma, what's your name? Bukre Dansa Kumi, which is like, do you want to dance with me? So it's like little stuff that you could kind of use to break the ice a little bit, but still, even then, they can kind of see through it. Like, it's like, okay, we know you're a tourist. Like, what do you want? Kind of thing. a lot, some girls aren't on that tip, and that's which is another myth that is commonly pushed out from like the quote unquote first worlds. Like people think like just because you're American that these women are going to actually are just going to drop their jaws like as soon as you tell them. Like it's it's not true. A lot of these girls still have self-respect and hold themselves in high regard. You still got to work in a lot of these quote unquote again third world countries. Like You gotta show initiative and that you're actually trying and not just trying to sleep with them.
Right, right. And you saying that even though they speak pretty much Portuguese,
Mm.
the culture is a little bit different than Brazil.
Word.
Okay, nice, nice, nice.
Yeah, the culture's a little bit different, and even some people, the Portuguese is still. Some people Portuguese really isn't even that good, and most
Mhm,
people will speak. Most people speak French too before
mhm,
they speak English. So finding somebody that speaks English is probably like they learn English in school. They can
mhm,
either choose to learn English or French, and most people
mhm,
choose French because there's more African countries that speak French. Over that way,
mhm.
and then English more so for like other tourists and that kind of thing.
Okay, okay, nice. And does it bother them when you pull out that translator on them, or is it kind of break up the flow?
Yes, yeah. Sometimes it do.
Uh huh.
Like yeah, sometimes it does. Like when I do use translator, I try to speak it myself,
Hmm.
and then sometimes I'll be like kuze, like which means what, like
Hmm.
kuze means what.
Hmm.
And then so I'll just show them, and then they'll be like, oh, okay, yeah, this is whatever I'm asking, this is where you go to eat or what have you, or my name is, or I mean my name, I don't know how to do that, but yeah, they kind of try to make it out to their best of ability, but sometimes it don't always work. You gotta let brothers know that it don't always work. Like they are
Right.
going to shoot you down.
Hmm.
Some of these ladies are going to shoot you down or just not entertain it because they don't know what you're saying.
Exactly. That's very true, man. I go through it a lot. Like I said,
Yeah,
I study Spanish every day out here, man. So I can get more and more conversational because you will end up losing beautiful women because you don't speak the language.
yeah,
They're
facts.
they're interested, but in their back of their head, like we can't really communicate with each other. So
Yeah,
when
facts.
women love to talk, you understand? Like they love to tell you what's going on with them and
Yeah,
their families and their lives. So that's
yeah.
definitely a deterrent. Man, we got 113 in the room. Guys, do me a favor and hit that like button. We flowing in here, man. And my brother has got some receipts, and we're gonna show the receipts. We're gonna show the videos
Okay,
of
cool.
Kurt Verde in a few minutes once we ask a few more questions. Now, bro, let's talk about the three main things you got to pay for in your travels, which is going to be housing, food, and transportation. What are the prices out there like? Is it expensive, medium, or pretty reasonable?
Pretty reasonable. I mean, it's pretty cheap. Like, if you're eating local, you can get meals for uh, like $2. Like, there was this
Hmm.
place I used to go to in this neighborhood called Tira Chapil.
Hmm.
Um, yeah. I can't remember her name, but I call her auntie. She doesn't speak much English, but she when I come in, she asks me, you good, to the bem,
Hmm.
everything like that,
Tudo
and
bem? Right.
yeah, she'd have everything like fish, chicken, uh, pork, with the beans and rice, and they switch it up with couscous or whatever, and
Hmm.
yeah, it was real cool. I just felt more comfortable. If you find a good food place and they taking care of you, I just keep going back to them. And then and of course, other than that, when you're going out to restaurants, you can still get a full meal for like $8, $9, $10 with the drink.
Hmm.
Just real like nice meals up to like maybe like if you're talking like the high end restaurants, it's like 20, 25, maybe 30, for like full course, type
Hmm.
stuff, like real fancy stuff.
And what you think of the food there? Was it good? Was it tasty, or was it kind of bland
Yeah,
or
the
something?
food, yeah, the food is good. Very, very
Hmm.
similar to Brazil. Like the you got the meats, the
Hmm.
beans, and then whatever form of starch, rice, couscous. Yeah, it's pretty similar. But the fish is always on point.
Yeah.
Fish is
Okay. Okay.
always on point. Yeah, you can never go wrong with the fish.
And what about the housing? How much are you going to be paying for like a decent Airbnb in a nice little area?
About 30 to 40 a night. Like the video,
Okay.
I guess the video we're about to play is the first place that I stayed at. I did an Airbnb, and it was about 30 something a night, like total for the month that I
Hmm.
booked it for the month of December, and
Hmm.
it was like about 900. But I talked them down, and then there were doing some people were doing some construction, so they were like, oh, okay, we can give you a discount. And I ended up I think paying like 650 for the month
Hmm.
for like the rooftop kitchen included, Wi-Fi and everything like that. Really good Wi-Fi too.
Okay, that's not
Fast,
that's
super
not
fast
bad.
Wi-Fi.
That's pretty
Yeah,
decent. And
hot
it's the
water.
oh well you need a bit where you need a near the beach.
Oh yeah. I was a 2 blocks from the beach.
Okay, nice, nice. And do they
Mm.
have Uber out there as far as transportation?
Yo, no, they do not have Uber,
Oh man,
which is
okay.
another thing. Like it's always good to just have a reliable taxi.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the time, like to get to one side of Pride to the other is like $2-3. And then later at night it gets a little bit more expensive. Like you might like if you're thinking like 2, 3, 4 a.m., it'd be like like upwards of like $5. But
Mm-hmm.
it's always good to tip them, especially if they're coming through because it can take. Sometimes if you're just calling a taxi number, sometimes it can take up to like 2 hours before you get picked up. And I've had those nights where it's just like, well, I mean, I've been comfortable, with the people I was hanging with and stuff like that, so we were chilling. But when
Mm-hmm.
you're ready to go, you're ready to go. You can't really, just instantly order something. You kind of just have to have somebody, reliable that that knows that they're gonna be taken care of. That'll just come get you like ASAP.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Shout out to E is Oko for the $10. Appreciate that. He says thanks a lot for also promoting Africa and this beautiful country. Appreciate that is Oko for the
Oh,
$10
you're
super
welcome.
chat.
I had a wonderful time in Cape Verde.
Okay, now I got a question from my guy Mufasa Shabazz. What's going on, brother? He asked, they don't have any rideshare company at all, like no ride sharing apps.
Nah, I don't believe they do. I
Uh-huh.
don't. Not an app. Yeah, I don't believe they have an app. For one.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
Because I know it could be kind of sketchy getting into some of these taxis internationally,
Word.
especially
Yeah.
here in Colombia.
Yeah,
You know,
and they
so
and they have really good. I mean, and they have really good moral character too. Like a lot of these
okay.
people, like if you like say you give them like a like the money is called scudos.
Mm-hmm.
So say you give them like 500, which is $5. So 100 scudos is $1. So
Mm-hmm.
they'll give you your correct change. Sometimes they may like get you on like a dollar or two extra, but it's just sometimes it just be like that. But for the most part, in general, I would say that most people have good character, and that's throughout Africa too.
Mm-hmm.
Like you'll get the people that'll be like, and that you'll get the people that'll finesse you, which is I think a difference too, because some people will say they got scammed, like
Mm-hmm.
when they hop into a taxi not knowing the price. It's like, no, you got finesse. Like, come on, you
Mm-hmm.
got. Like, let's try to make. Well, some people don't see a difference. They just know they
Mm-hmm.
got cheated or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
or they paid more than they were supposed to. So, the way I look at it is you just got to be careful. You know, you
Okay. Okay.
you live and learn with that.
And what about the safety out there? Is it pretty safe to move around at night?
Yeah, it's pretty. I would say it's pretty safe. My local friends will tell me to be careful, with your phone and stuff like that. Of
Mm-hmm.
course, people do snatch phones, and
Mm-hmm.
that, again, that's everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but for the most part, yeah, it's pretty safe. It's pretty safe. Like,
Okay.
just be aware of your surroundings and your personal items, that kind of thing. But
Okay. And you mentioned the money. What's the exchange rate out there to versus the one American U.S. dollar? Is it like three to
oh,
five?
about 100 scudos. I think it's a
100.
little
Okay.
bit more. Yeah, it fluctuates. But
Okay.
yeah,
Nice. Nice.
so $10 would be like 1,000 scudos.
Okay.
100 would be 10,000.
Mm-hmm. And you said how much is like an average little plate of food out there?
About $2 to $3, like a local spot.
Mm-hmm.
And they're really big on pizza too. There's a lot of pizzerias, good pizza
Okay.
too. Yeah, pizzerias are really popular there. Yeah, about I'll say like $2 to $5. And then if you go to somewhere like fancy, high end, you'd probably pay upwards like 15, 20, and then maybe 30. Depending on you getting like the lobster. You balling out the steak or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how much is the average price around for your tickets out there?
So I paid um I flew from Houston. I was leaving from Houston. And instead of like booking a flight out of Houston, I think it would have because I had booked the one way because I was planning to go for like 3 months. And out of Houston, I think it was gonna be like about 700,
Mm-hmm.
700 just one way. And
Okay.
then what I did was you just kind of break down, like once you see like the itinerary, the flight itinerary, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then from there you break down like, okay, well, how much is it if I just book a flight from Houston to here, or from wherever city you're at to here, and then book the flight from there to Praia. And it's usually cheaper, like 30, 40, sometimes 50% cheaper.
Okay.
So I ended up paying like about, I want to say like 350 altogether for my one way. And so for my flight from Houston to Miami, I flew on Southwest for like 60, and then from Miami to Lisbon, Portugal, and then Portugal to Cape Verde, to Praia, Cape Verde was like 350
Oh,
or
that's not bad
300.
at
Yeah,
all.
so about 400 maybe with taxes and stuff like that. Yeah.
And then
And
you.
I was gonna say too. So coming from the U.S., I don't think there's any direct flights.
Okay.
Maybe from Boston, because Boston has a big Cape Verdean population. And I also learned too from this guy that I met. That was he grew up in Boston as well and was out there visiting that. Because I was wondering like why do so many Cape Verdeans live in Boston? Like it's cold as hell. Like you know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
And so he explained to me that I think like back in the 50s or the 60s or something like that, there was like a U.S. shipping company that had opened up like a port or some kind of business, connection to Cape Verde and hired a bunch of Cape Verdeans. And so, sure enough, as people were working over there, then they started moving their families and that kind of thing. So then they started, building their own community around Brockton and all the outskirts of Boston. They
Okay. Nice.
Cape Verdeans out there heavy.
And how'd you take care of your return ticket?
Return ticket. From there, yeah, I mean, you can pretty much do the same thing from there. I know most people are comfortable just booking it with one airline, and I try to do that now. Well, I mean, I try to do that like when I can, because I know that it can be a headache, like especially with baggage, because the baggage changed so much with different airlines, especially when you're talking to flying to different continents. Like, man, it can be a headache. But yeah, from there, from Cape Verde, I had continued on to Tanzania for 3 months before I came back to U.S. So from there, I had got a one-way. So from Praia, when I was leaving from Praia, going to Tanzania, I got a one-way flight from Praia to Lisbon, and then from Lisbon to Dar es Salaam.
So you had to fly back to Europe to fly back down to Africa.
Yeah. I
Oh
think now
Lord.
you do. Eventually, you had to. I think they got direct flights to like Senegal, but I think that's the only country I know of that does direct flights to Cape Verde. Otherwise, like most of the time, even from U.S., you're flying to Portugal first, and then via TAP Airlines.
Okay. Awesome, man.
Yeah.
Appreciate that $5 super chat, James Best. I appreciate that, man. We're gonna go ahead and get into some of these travel receipts now. Let me see.
Okay.
We're gonna start with this video right here, bro.
Hey.
It's a little dark. Can you see it?
I can see. Oh, okay, yeah. So this is a spot called
There we go. Okay.
Cape Canela, which is a very popular nightlife spot. And mind you, this is like right next to the Airbnb that you guys are about to see too. This is like walking distance. I would walk, here every other night or whatever, and just have drinks and stuff. And so yeah, Cape Canela is right on the beach. Yeah, I mean, every night they just they turn up here. Drinks are like beers like $2-3. Caipirinhas are like $5. And they got food, pizzas like $10, 15. They got hookah. Hookah is really popular there. It's a upstairs too. Like this is downstairs in this video. The downstairs spot has like a view, has a cool open view of the beach, and then this is the inside part where they serve, where the bar is, and where they serving the food and stuff like that. Yeah, it's a real nice spot. And mind you too, in Praia is very small. As far as like when you go out the nightlife spot, you have Cape Canela, Eclipse, and I guess Prenia de Agua is another spot too, which is pretty much like walking distance as well. They're all very close together in this area called Palmarejo.
Okay, so in that area, that's like the little nightlife area that guys want to go to.
Pretty much, yeah. And there's another spot too. I can't remember the name of it, but I went to like a really nice. Like they're all like right next to each other, except for Prenia de Agua.
Okay,
That
cool.
one is like a neighborhood over. like near that one's near the embassies and stuff like that. Like like all the like the U.S. embassy, not the U.S. embassy, but like the Portugal embassy, Brazil, Angola, a bunch of embassies are like the neighborhood over from Palmerasia.
Okay, okay. Is the video playing on your end?
Nah, it's paused.
Okay, let me see it.
Okay, yeah. So here's some of the pizza. Enjoying it with some ladies.
Okay, nice, nice. I don't know why it's paused. Let me
Only
see.
one of them spoke English, so I had to kind of speak through one of them and then relay it to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
But it's cool.
Okay.
They yeah, when we were out that night, like they actually paid for everything there, and then I took care of the drinks at Eclipse, which is another nice spot. It's at this area called Pryor Shopping, which is like a little mall. They had a food court, and then the nightclub's at the top. But that's another dope place where they have events, concerts, and stuff like that. And they have this 1 hour in the night where they have a stripper come out,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, they have like a few of them, so that's real cool.
Oh, so they do have like a little strip clubs and stuff out there.
Where not really strip clubs, but they'll have like performances, like
Okay.
they'll have like nights where they come out in, like feathers and that kind of stuff, and they'll pick somebody random, and dance on them and stuff like that. It's cool.
Okay. Okay. And let me see if I can get back on this. What do we have here?
Okay, yeah. So this is the first Airbnb that I stayed at
Uh-huh.
in Palmerajo. And Palmerajo is big too. Like so you have the area I was staying in is Palmerajo Bajo, which is like the low bottom, the lower half, and then Palmerajo Grande is like the more, I guess, I think it's like
Mm-hmm.
more residential area. Because this area is residential too, but it still has like the private shopping, the nightclubs and stuff like that in walking distance. And they also have a nice sushi bar too. That's like right at the bottom, a part of a complex with a grocery store, um, and like another restaurant that I didn't get that I never tried, like a little cafe.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can get to the next video. We froze there a little bit. Apologies, fellas. Let me see if we can.
All right. But yeah, for this spot, I ended up paying like 650, but normally it's about 900. Which is like $30 a night for the month, which is pretty standard.
Mm, okay. Okay. Hey, I'm gonna pause the video and we're gonna come right back because it
Okay.
froze on me. All right.
Okay. Cool.
All right. Let me give you 1 second. No, I want to end the broadcast. I want to just.
Oh, it's still live. I thought the live was paused. What's good, y'all?
There we go. You there? Yo, can you hear me? No, I'm good now. Hold on. Hey, can you hear me, bro?
A little bit. It's kind of choppy.
Okay, hold on, hold on. Can you hear me a little bit better now?
Okay, yeah, that's good.
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, we had more receipts, man, but the video froze on us. So apologies, guys. But in a nutshell, did you enjoy your trip, man? Would you return back to Cape Verde?
Oh yeah, I'm already like, they're already asking me when I'm coming back and stuff like that. And I mean, I
Mm-hmm.
want to go back because I want to go to another island. Like I'm kind of like I was there for 3 months and didn't go to another island. Like for me, like I
Mm-hmm.
feel like I just got too comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Like I had the barber. And that's another thing. It's like three things that I would like to have when I travel is a reliable barber, reliable transportation, and good food.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody I can always go to because one thing you don't want to do is you want to get sick. While you're traveling. And
Mm-hmm. Very
I
true.
got sick when I was in Sierra Leone. But that was because I drank some palm wine that was I think already mixed with like some unfiltered water, stuff like that. Because they try to stretch it. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
they do what they do to stretch it. But I think I just had some that was mixed with some unfiltered water. But
Okay.
yeah, man, I can't wait to go back. I
Nice.
don't know when, but definitely hopefully in like the next 6 months or so.
Mm-hmm. And
Yeah.
is this like the little? This is a drone shot of the ocean.
Word, yeah. So that's like Pomeranial. That's like the street, like the next street over. Like this is my view from the apartment.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So it's literally like 2 blocks from the beach. And then like to the left is like where the private shopping is and Cape Canela, um, Eclipse nightclub. Yeah, it's a bunch of nice restaurants like around that area and bars.
Okay. Oh man, I was trying to put that video of your Airbnb. It's still not pulling up though. Okay,
Oh,
let
word,
me.
it's still not working. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Don't
Let
worry.
me.
But y'all tune in. Go over to Please Rewind. YouTube. I'm gonna be working on that soon. I actually just
Yeah.
posted up my first day there vlog. Me walking around the area, showing you the embassies and stuff like that. That's around there. And
Okay. Is that your Airbnb right there?
yeah, the top level. So the family owns the whole building.
Mm-hmm.
The husband and wife, they got the bottom floor.
Mm-hmm.
And then the wife's father is on the second floor. And so, yeah, I mean, it was still guest friendly, as long as you're just respectable,
Mm-hmm.
not just making sure that you just, you're being quiet, that kind of thing. Not like, quiet like a mouse, but, just not like,
It's a it's
like
it
some
looks
girls might
nice,
follow like
man. Like I
sometimes,
like the
but
way it looks. It looks
yeah,
like
it's
very
a real nice
different,
spot.
but yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, it was cool. So as long as you're respectable at that spot, I'll make sure I link that in the video, link the
Mm-hmm.
Airbnb in the video and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
oh, so I want to say too, after this spot,
Mm-hmm.
shout out to Jolie from Avante Dot Tours. She grew up in the U.S., but I think her parents are from Cape Verde, so she's Cape Verdean. But she's been living back in Cape Verde now for I think like 5 years or so, and she
Mm-hmm.
has a tour company, a tour and like helps you find accommodations and different things. Like she helped me find my other accommodation, which is in a neighborhood called Teta Branca,
Mm-hmm.
um, which is where like my barbershop was and like more local restaurants and that kind of thing. And I don't know if the other drone footage where you see like the big mural,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you got that up, but
Let me see.
where
I
that
think this
where
is
that
it right here.
oh, okay.
Is that it?
Oh no, that's the jet skis. Okay, so yeah, they do got jet skis,
Mm-hmm.
in Cape Verde. If anybody want to take out the jet skis.
Man, nice man. Is it hot over there? What's the weather like over there?
Oh yeah, it's pretty hot. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
like yeah,
Like
between
hot,
90
hot,
to
like
80.
100 something hot, or
Nah, well, December is a little bit more temperate.
mm-hmm.
December it's a little bit more calm. But I can imagine in the summer it's a little bit more scorching. But December it's cool. The nights can get pretty cold and windy with that sea breeze. So you
Mm-hmm.
definitely pack a jacket if you're going. If you plan on going like the fall. I don't know if in the summer it'll get that cold, with the sea
Mm-hmm.
breeze, but because I would imagine the water's more warm. But yeah, in the winter the water is pretty cold. But so at night that sea breeze is you can catch a cold if you don't wear a jacket. For sure.
Yeah, man. That's what's up, man. So, brother, I appreciate you coming on the show. Your channel
Right.
is in the guys. His channel is in the description. Tell us a little bit about your channel before we leave.
You said what?
Tell us a little bit more about your channel.
Oh yeah, so on my channel, I do vlogs. I do want to do more videos of just kind of explaining like detailing, laying out instead of just vlogging.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna do more detailed videos, just kind of explaining my journey, how
Mm-hmm.
I book my flights and find the cheapest rates, accommodations,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, everything like that. More Cape Verde content as well. And oh, I'm sorry, real quick. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna link Jolie's information as well in Avante
Okay.
Tours because she definitely the other spot that I got was about 450 for the month. So and it was like a
Mm-hmm.
2 bedroom spot, secure, had 2 double doors, one outside door and then another door you got to go through to the stairway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it was a cool spot. So yeah, shout out to Jolie. She definitely came through and helped. And she does transportation as well. She has reliable taxi drivers, that can pick you up from the airport, that kind of stuff, which is only like $20. Airport pickups like $20.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so yeah, more Cape Verde stuff coming on my channel. But yeah, thank you BMT for tuning in. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, most definitely, man. Appreciate you coming on the show. And real quick, last question: did you have to have any like COVID test or COVID protocols to enter the country?
Word, yeah. So you did have to have the PCR test 72 hours before, and
Okay.
I think you may have to have yellow fever vaccine. So
Mm-hmm.
check that. I did get my yellow fever vaccine. So
Did you get it in America or?
yeah, I got it in America before I went to Sierra Leone. And even then too, like the yellow fever, you really don't have to. You really don't have to get it.
Mm-hmm.
The malaria pills will be fine,
Mm-hmm.
and you'll be good as long as you making sure you're just doing the bottled water and you're staying hydrated.
Okay, say that one more time about the malaria pills now. So brothers should take
Malaria
malaria
pills.
pills?
Yeah, malaria pills. Yeah, so malaria pills they also recommend that because of the food difference and the climate change.
Okay.
Just an all around different environment.
All right,
And
cool, cool.
we're just not used to, maybe just not used to it,
Mm-hmm.
used to the environment. So they do I would recommend the malaria pills. Yeah, you're supposed to take one you're supposed to take them. I think they say like 10 days before your trip.
Mm-hmm.
I start taking like one a day, and then once you get there, you still take them like one a day after you eat, stuff like that.
Okay, nice, man.
But
Well,
yeah,
brother, I
other than
appreciate
the
you.
I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Well, I was
No,
just
go
gonna say
ahead, go ahead.
other than the palm wine situation, like I haven't really gotten sick.
Okay, hold on. Tell us about the palm wine situation real quick.
Yeah. Oh yeah, well, I briefly touched on it, but yeah, I was in Sierra Leone, and I just,
Mhm.
I'm hanging with my cousins and stuff like that. So we in the bush like tapping palm wine, and then I think by the time we got there to the elder's home, I think he had already like mixed it, with like the local water, and I think they put like yeast in it to kind of stretch it, make it last, and it's another they sell it and stuff like that. So I just got there too late. Me, I just think I can handle everything.
Right.
But yeah, that was pretty scary. Like it's funny because like this was like around the time where like COVID was only in China, and so
Mm-hmm.
like my cousin's friends was like joking like, oh, he got coronavirus and shit like
Oh
that. It was like,
man.
where you just come from, China? Like
Oh man.
so it hadn't even hit Africa yet. Yeah, so yeah, it was
Man.
all good though. I took some malaria pills and drank a lot of water, ate some fruits, and yeah, as long as you stay hydrated and you know take your vitamins, vitamin C, you should be good.
That's what's up, man. But once
Yeah.
again, bro, appreciate you coming on the show, man. I'm gonna have you back again sometime.
Okay, cool. Sounds good, man. Appreciate it.
All right, peace. And shout out to No Vaccine for the $5 super chat. Shout out to you as well, bro.
Yeah, shout out to you.
All right, peace.
All right, man. Take care.